Welcome to Central Texas College's Welcome Weeks events. And once again, we are here to talk to you about some career opportunities and clusters that we have. Today, we are talking about the construction, manufacturing, and transportation career cluster. And we have a great esteemed group of individuals that are going to talk to you about all these career fields and what you can do here at Central Texas College to be more successful. If you're not sure what you want to do when you grow up, quote unquote, then this might be one of those ways that you can figure out how to, that this may be one of those things that you can do or what may want to do. So to start us off, we have Mr. Abe Merlina. He is actually going to be talking to you about aviation. And now we're going to have Mr. William Kirshner. He is going to be talking to you about all the industrial technology areas that we are going to be covering today. So as the department chair of each of their respective areas, they are very good at knowing all of the everything that is entails in these departments and these degree plans. So this is a great opportunity for you to ask questions and let us know if there's something that is a burning question. Please type it into the chat. We are looking and keeping track of that so that we can go ahead and address them as we go along. So please, please, please share. And I'm just going to ask Mr. Abe Molina to please start us off with the aviation programs.
All right, so hello everyone. Let me just start sharing the screen really quick. Is it okay, or is it looking a little distorted? Okay, good. All right, so this is the aviation program. Of course, I'm the department chairman of aviation science. I represent the aviation department at Central Texas College. So I'm going to talk about the program, why you would like to choose us. We'll share some contact information with you, and I will show you also or list here what the fleet that we currently have is. So first of all, so this an associate's degree in aviation science, and this is the current degree plan that we have. Your 2-year degree covers 4 semesters, the first semester being private pilot flight, second semester instrument flight, third and fourth semester, or technically the first and second of the second year, will be covered by the commercial flight course. So intermediate flight is basically your first time that you start going into the commercial level maneuvers, and we're looking at a little more professionalism in those type of classes and an increase on, or I guess tightening a little bit more the standards that the FAA requires you to have. So this program requires you to put a lot of effort in the classroom, a lot of effort in also at home studying, and as well as being able to do your flight training. So you do and manage a couple of things at the same time. So you'll be expected to fly 3 hours a week with your instructor. You will have a designated instructor, and that's a person who will be taking care of the flight training. And you will be taking as well as at the same time some ground school classes, what we call basically classroom classes, that will last 16 weeks as well. If the weather is very good, you should be able to reach up to about 57 hours in a semester. So we're striving to get people basically done as quick as we can, but that's basically our master plan for the program. So why us? I think we probably, some of you might have heard of what a Part 141 approved flight school means, but this means that we are allowed to have some college courses and also the flight training together, and it brings some benefits. So there's something called a restricted ATP, that instead of requiring 1,500 hours to be able to apply for the airline transport pilot certificate, it would be reduced to 1,250. That's about equivalent about half year flight time as an instructor. So it's a pretty good, let's call it, discount on the hours that we require. Also, as a flight school, our location is pretty good. So we have several airports that we can fly to in the vicinity within a 15-minute range, and including the Killeen Robert Airport or Robert Gray Airport, the one that is by Clear Creek. We also have Skylark Field, which is our main base, and Temple Airport, which is the one a little bit further to the northeast of us. And every single one of those airports has instrument approaches. So we don't really have to fly very far to practice several approaches. In essence, you can get a lot of practice within a shorter period of time. I would compare this to some flight schools that are located in busy airspaces, and it would take about an hour before you can, let's say, an hour just flight that you will not be able to perform maneuvers because you're trying to get away from that busy airspace into the practice area for the school. In our case, we are in an uncongested area, so you can do. I've flown with students on a Saturday before, and I've flown for 5 minutes and I start doing maneuvers because we're that close to the practice area and there's not that many airplanes around that place that would interfere with our operations, which makes it super good for private pilot training because you get to do a lot of visual maneuvers and we don't get any additional delays other than weather, right? Cross-country flights to Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, and Austin area or airspaces are part of the course. Depending on the flight course that you're in, is what areas you're going to be flying to. These are designated as BC airspaces, so it gives you a lot of good experience, and at the same time, kind of combining the calm environment of where the school is located and also being able to get some BC airspace experience. We're also part of the National Intercollegiate Flying Association, or NIFA, and this is flight team competitions, or also known as the flight team competitions, that happen every year. There is a regional and the national levels. We were, it was a little bit inactive or not as active as the previous years to the pandemic, but it's starting to pick up more speed now, and we're starting to get our flight team together to be able to compete again on that. And also, we'll have an aviation association that will work together with this. And basically, we're trying to get people involved and doing things in aviation other than doing the flight training. So we're also members of the University Aviation Association. We also integrate traditional and modern aviation instruction, and this is achieved by using the many years of that the school has been teaching aviation and kind of finding a middle point or a compromise where we can introduce newer instrumentation and aircraft and also flying instruction techniques to be able to prepare you for a little bit better for the real world, right? So there are some airlines that will have the latest and the most expensive instrumentations, and there's also jobs that will have a little bit more older aircraft that you will have to fly, and you should be able to know how to fly those. We also have all our coursework transfers to Texas A&M University, so if you were interested in getting a bachelor's degree, then you would be able to continue with them after a certain amount of credit hours. You can transfer and you can do the bachelor's degree as well with them. So that's very convenient since we're in the same area. And our contact information, so there's two places that you can basically visit. The first, of course, I would put in is the airport. I'm typically at the airport, even I don't put my name here because our main office is at the main campus, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. But the airport, we have the aviation maintenance hangar. We have Robert Simmons, he's the maintenance supervisor for the basically aircraft maintenance that we do on our airplanes. And on the main hangar, we have James Reynolds, who is the chief flight instructor, and we have Michael Hutera, who is the assistant chief flight instructor. Like I said, I typically spend most of my time at the airport as well, so you'll be able to reach out to me at this location as well. And I think it would probably be a good thing to mention that we have in-house maintenance. So anytime something needs repair or maintenance, we take care of it as soon as we can. It's literally the hangar next to us. Our main campus, again, you know location, but the person who typically is at that office that will be able to help you out if any time you end up being over there and trying to get some information will be Rusty Evinger, and this is our admin for the department. Here's of course the information, so 254-526-1241. And of course, my name is Abelardo Molina. I'm the Department Chair of Aviation. I'm also a flight instructor, and my phone number is 254-616-3420. Lastly, I would like to mention what fleet we currently have. So we have 9 Cessna 152s, and 4 of them have a Garmin 430 GPS. We have 2 Piper Archers. These are 2017 models, and they come with a Garmin 1000, which is a more advanced instrumentation. There's literally 2 screens on the cockpit, and that's about it. And we also have an autopilot on that airplane. So this is our main instrument trainer because of the amount of or how capable the airplane is. And then we have the 2 Piper Arrows, which are equipped with Garmin 500s and Garmin 650s. Again, this sounds like a lot of technical information, but essentially imagine a more modern version of the cockpit. So we have screens in front of us, and models vary, but they're essentially screens. These airplanes are retractable landing gear, and also we have a Cessna 310. This is a multi-engine trainer. It's a retractable landing gear, and this is, although it's not part of the degree plan, we also offer the multi-engine add-on to your certificate. So once you finish and you graduate and you're still interested in getting your multi-engine, depending on what you want to do in the industry, you can choose to do that with us as well. And we also offer flight instruction, certified flight instructor courses. Again, is on top of that program. It's not in the associate's degree, but it's a certification that you can get with us. I don't know if you would like to have a section for questions, or if you would like to move on to the next person.
I mean, I don't have any questions right now, but if anybody does have any questions, please go ahead and type them in the chat. We are live on Facebook, and you can actually type, and we will go ahead and have the presenters address them as they come through. But I would say one of the questions that I always have noticed a lot of people have. Can you talk a little bit about maybe the pricing of the program compared to some of the other ones out in around Texas, please?
Yes, so definitely has been our focus in the past years to be an affordable option for students. Currently, we're a quite unique course or program, and I say unique because we have to consider that we also, on top of your classroom classes, you also have to do practice, and these practices or this flight training that you perform, these are going to be assessed by an FAA employee, essentially a pilot examiner. So those are set forth by the FAA. So there is some training that might be necessary on top of what you already paid for. Our base, including tuition, and this is considering the out-of-state tuition, would be $43,000, including all the flight fees, including all the classes and 60 credit hours. And in average, we can see with overflight about 55,000, but we still go well below the lowest competitor that we can find in the region. So that's quite a bit affordable price, to be honest with you, for a full degree plan in aviation.
And for those, I know that we have a lot of students that actually are not local that come for the program. Can you talk a little bit about the options that they have in terms, and I know that this is not necessarily your area, but I know for a fact that we have a lot of students that actually stay on campus, compared to maybe other degree plans where we don't have as many students come from out of the local area to take classes.
So we encourage people, and I don't think that the dorm is a known item, I guess, especially for colleges. It is from what my experience has been, it's not very common for some colleges to have dormitory. So we do have dormitory, and as a matter of fact, like Mariceli said, we have had a lot of students in the past that come from far away places, meaning more than an hour away, right? Some people from San Antonio, some people from Abilene. really would like to encourage you to look at the dorm. And I say this not because, well, I lived there for 6 years and I have ever any problem with the dorm. It was an enjoyable experience, but I think that by making yourself available and being within a 15-minute drive from the airport makes you, let's say, will allow you to fly more often because there's always something that will happen. Someone will be getting sick, someone will have something going on that prevents them from coming in and showing up to their flight schedule. So if we have a list of the students that are within a 15-minute drive, then we know that we can count on you on at least reaching out to you and saying, hey, there's an availability, would you be able to take it? And then you can drive over here and take that spot. So there you go, you got another hour within the week that you were not expecting to have, and that accelerates your training quite a bit. So, and it gives you a lot of time to study because you don't have to worry about paying bills or cooking or anything like that. So you just increase your availability overall to do things.
Great, thank you. I do have a question from
Mhm.
Facebook, and it's from Kiki Harris. Says, I have an 8th grader who is interested in becoming a pilot. Is there any information I can give her for preparing? We are located in Central Texas.
Okay, so let me see real quick here something. I have a little flyer for, so I make sure in this case, it's typically we have people that already graduated from high school coming in to apply, like again, transitioning from high school into college right away. And our restriction really is just because the FAA says that a student needs to be at least 16 years of age in order to apply for the student certificate. So that's the reason we wouldn't be able to start sooner. But in the meantime, what I would suggest is there's something called Discovery Flight. A Discovery Flight is a very inexpensive 30-minute to an hour flight that you can get at a local airport. We currently do not offer anything of that nature, but there's a lot of places in the area that will be able to um, take care of that. That's a Temple, Georgetown, Austin Executive Airport in Pflugerville would be good options to go and do that because this it is going to lead to be an airline pilot, right? And it's not the same feeling to fly in a small aircraft comparing it to a big aircraft, right? So we always encourage someone who, especially who has never been in a small airplane, to try out the Discovery Flight, get a feel of how the training is going to be. Get your first class or second class medical certificate from the FAA. That's very much one of the most important things that you have to get because it's in order to be eligible for these things, you have to have that medical certificate, basically that examination done periodically. So it's it's better to find early than later, right? So it's just one of those things that I recommend getting before, as soon as you can, to find out if that's going to be possible to go through.
Well, according to Kiki, she says that her daughter already did a discovery flight and she loved it.
Excellent.
So I think as where, just in general, because there is an age restriction and we couldn't do anything else.
Hmm.
She also asked where she can get a medical certificate at.
Okay, so FAA.gov is going to be like the official source for all these, let's say, all these different certifications. So if you go to FAA.gov and there's a search bar on the top right that you can uh, go in, and it's like a Google, right? So in the search bar, you're going to look for FAA medical certificate, and that is going to lay out the different things that you have to do to be able to do that. But in overall, I would say that when you go into the website, it's called MedExpress. It's going to take you through the application process. It's going to take you through the application process and ask you a couple of questions about your medical background. And after that, it's going to tell you, okay, your application is complete, print it out, take it to an approved medical examiner, which is not any doctor. So the FAA has a list of doctors that you can go to and perform that specific examination. And it's on the same day, so they check you, and if all the testing that they do on that day passes and checks out, the doctor will give you that certificate on that specific day. I think what I know that people have been struggling is just to be able to have to find availability with doctors. I think that because there are medical examiners for the FAA on the side, but they are still normal, regular doctors. So just finding a way to get in their schedule is just a difficult thing lately.
Is there anything else that you feel that she could be doing? Like, I mean, honestly, let's be real. Some of these classes that you have to take for these, based on what I've learned with you, there's meteorology, there's all these other things. I mean, does the student maybe need to focus on, middle school and high school, some of the classes that maybe this she can focus on that are going to be helpful for what she has to do in aviation in the future that maybe a person wouldn't normally think about.
This is we're trying to modernize the way we approach the program, and one of those things is to utilize the vast amount of home study courses that you can purchase. And these home study courses do not require anything to be able to have other than paying, of course, but that's just third party. It's not really with TTC. But if I'm allowed to mention the companies, I can. I don't know if I would be allowed to do that, but there's places that you can find online. Or if you want more information, you can reach out on my contact info as well, and I can share those with you. But these home study courses have short videos. They have they're very interactive. They have the quizzes at the end of those videos, and it takes you all the way to the FAA written examination. So if you come in with that already done, you're going to be 1,000 years ahead of everyone else. And we're trying to now, of course, implement it as a requirement to all our students. But if you do that before you get in, that will be an extremely good and beneficial thing for her.
That's awesome advice, so thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I don't see any other questions. Kiki, I hope that this answered everything that you had, and if not, you can go ahead. We'll go ahead and put the information. I will go ahead and post his name and email in the chat in a minute, so that way you can contact him for further information for sure. But if not, just let us know and then we'll go ahead and bring it back. We're going to continue though, and there are other aspects of this here that we're going to keep talking about, and this is where we talk a little bit more about the manufacturing and construction side of the house. And of course, it's way more than just manufacturing and construction, but that's just the title of the cohort. And so I'm going to ask Mr. William Krishner to please give us introduce himself, and then we're going to start the presentation in a little bit. In the meantime, Abe, can you go ahead and type your contact info so I can transfer it over?
Yeah, for sure. Let me put that in the chat, okay?
Thanks.
I'm already doing it, Abe. Already got you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I just got to put
Mr.
S on here.
Krishner, you want to say hey to the world?
Hello,
would just
world.
delete it.
Welcome to Central Texas College. I'm the Department Chair of Industrial Technology, and I have automotive programs, diesel programs, building trades, which is your construction programs, and HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. And also we have graphics printing. So we have a little bit of everything that you do. So if you want to work outside the perimeter and you like doing stuff with your hands, this is the place that you need to come to. Okay. I was going to share my screen, but somebody already put it up there.
Oh, no, go ahead. You do it then. I
Alrighty.
would actually prefer that you do it.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, can you see it?
Yes.
I hope you can. All right, right off the bat, we're going to start with our automotive program. Our automotive program is an ASE accredited program. What does that mean? That means that ASE tells us what our shop's supposed to look like. How does our shop test, and how do they do hands-on and practical testing in accordance with the automotive service excellence? Now, that does not mean that once you complete a course, you are automatically ASE certified. No, we are offering you where you could turn around and say, not take an exit exam, but go out and take an ASE exam. And if you pass it, you are now ASE accredited from what we have taught you. In front here, you see it's automotive. The first one is lecture base. And then from there on, then we're competency based. What's competency based? Competency based is more like self-scheduling. You tell us what days you want to come to class, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You tell us what times you want to come to class. We start at 1 in the afternoon, we end at 10 at night. So if you want to come to class Monday and Wednesday from 1 in the afternoon till 4 o'clock, you can. If something happens and you need to reschedule, all you have to do is contact your instructor and say, hey, I can't come in on Wednesday. Is it possible I can come in on Tuesday or Thursday? As long as the class isn't overfilled, which we have a high number of seating, and we will turn around and say, yes, you can come in on Tuesday or Thursday, and you, okay. We have 1 degree, that's automotive mechanics and technicians, and that is Associates of Applied Science. We have a level 2 certificate, that's automotive technician. That is the same as the ASE, except you do not have the core classes. So you don't have no math, no English, no government, no history, no electives of fine art, so forth. So you're not a manager, but you are a senior technician when you take that course. Now, everything we teach is at the internship at the low level. So you do have to still work in the industry and get promoted to make your way all the way up to be a master technician, where you can get $35, $40, $50 an hour. Where once you graduate school, you are not automatically getting that. All right, the next one is the automotive specialist. Excuse me. The automotive specialist certificate. Now that there deals with your steering, suspension, brakes, and air conditioning, anything that is not part of the engine or the electrical transmission or the electrical components. So it's all the systems and subsystems that make everything work. Then we have basic automotive technician. That deals with all your engine components and your electrical troubleshooting, how to run out there and turn around and tell us what all the components in the engine are, how they work, how they function. If something's wrong, be able to use logical thought process and figure out what is wrong. Also the electrical part, because you can't troubleshoot electricity. Nowadays, everything is computer based. So you need to know electrical troubleshooting. So you can apply that and you add them all together. Next one we'll go to is Craftsman Trades or building technology or carpentry, frame builders, roofers, house builders, tree house builders, whatever, you want to build with your hands and wood. And it's a competency-based program. We also start from 1 in the afternoon till 10 o'clock at night, and it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The first degree, if you want to go with your core classes, is Craftsman Trades. That's an Associates of Applied Science. Other than that, you have building trade certificate, level 2. That means you could build a house almost, right? Then you have carpentry trade, which is level 1, which are shorter certificates that you can complete anywhere from 4 to 6 months. Then you have construction trade, level 1, and that also is a shorter certificate where you can complete it between 4 and 6 months. Construction trade, once you have that done, you could go out and get a job at any construction site or work for any manufacturing person. And then if they need you have any additional skills, they can send you back to class somewhere you can do carpentry, cabinet making, operations of lathes. We've got CNC machines. We have Boss lasers. So all that is inside our Craftsman Trades. You're working with your hands. You're building something out of wood, not just a birdhouse, but you're building something out of wood that someone can move into. Safety guidelines is still the same. We're still practicing the COVID. So we are separated at a distance. We do sanitize all the equipment after we're done with it because somebody else is going to work on it. If you want to wear a mask, you can. If you don't want to wear a mask, do not wear a mask, okay? But we are still practicing the COVID protocols because COVID is still out. Now, diesel. Diesel is a competency base. A lot of our programs are competency based. We start Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 1 in the afternoon to 10 o'clock at night. All right, down bottom, you see where we're ranked. It says we're ranked in the Detroit Truck North America, and we're ranked 25th out of the nation, to include Canada. So when we're working our industry, that goes with all of our other programs. Our industry dictates what we need to teach, because our main function is to teach you to get a job. It's not what we already know. We want to teach you what the industry wants. So if Detroit says, I want you to do this, well, guess what? In class, you're going to do what Detroit says. If Mercedes-Benz says, I want you to do this, you do it. That's why we're ranked 25th for Detroit Truck North America, because we deal with Detroit's Cummins, Allison automatic transmissions, Daimler Truck automatic 12-speed transmissions, and Cummins. So we work on that. Plus, we have light forestry, construction, agricultural. So we're working with Kubota, Case International, John Deere. So we have all that light construction as well. And we're going to go in the diesel engine technician and maintenance or maintainer. That's an AAS, Associates of Applied Science. Diesel technician certification, like in automotive, is the same, except you don't need any of the core classes. So you have all your technical training. That takes like 2 years. We have basic diesel technician, where you learn every component about a diesel engine, how a diesel engine operates, and all the electrical. So you know how to troubleshoot the electrical part. Then we have diesel system specialist, dealing with the brakes, steering, suspension, transmission, air conditioning. Also in diesel, we teach you refrigeration air conditioning. So other than just the automotive side of the house, where you're working on the air conditioning in the truck, now you're working on the air conditioning in the refrigeration trailer. So if you pick up $1 million worth of shrimp from the Gulf and you're driving down the road and your AC unit goes bad in your trailer, you call someone, you say, hey, my AC unit just went bad. Most of the time, they're going to send the diesel technician that knows how to work on automotive air conditioning. You don't have a problem with automotive air conditioning. You have a problem with your air conditioning in your refrigeration trailer. We teach you here at CTC the whole aspect of diesel maintenance, from the trailer to the engine, everything that's in between, you will learn and know how to work on. Our HVAC program, which is residential heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, comfort control. If you're from Texas, excuse me, you know how important air conditioning is. All right, comfort control. You're not comfortable if your AC is not working, you're hot. We don't want that. So now you're going to learn everything about residential air conditioning units and heat pumps and gas and oil furnaces. We don't use that here in Texas, but it's something nice to know, because you might end up moving to Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, where it gets cold 10 months out of the year instead of hot 10 months out of the year. We have heating, air conditioning, refrigeration, mechanics, repair. That's our Associates of Applied Science degree. We have heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration certification too. That means you're a certificate, you're a technician on both sides of the house. You just don't have the core classes. Air conditioning, refrigerant technician assistant. You're an assistant to the master AC tech. And residential air conditioning, heating, and refrigeration. That's another one. And those certificates are all short certificates. The residential heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration, level 1, you can finish that in 4 to 6 months. Heating, air conditioning, refrigeration technician assistance, you can finish that in 4 to 6 months. The heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration level 2 certificate, it takes about 2 years to complete that. And you'll be working on all the air conditioning units and heating units as well. Remember, if you have any questions, put them down there in the comments box, and they will notify us what questions, and I can turn around and ask you and answer some of the questions that you're asking. Now we're going to move on into welding. Yes, competency based, but welding starts at like 8:30 in the morning to 10 o'clock. We have 2 instructors, and they can turn around and split up and cover a lot more people. Our welding degree is, we have welding AAS, and we are sanctioned by or accredited by American Welding Society. We have welding technician certification 2, which takes 2 years. We have farm and ranch. Some people might say that's a hobbyist welding, but if you're a farmer or a rancher, there's a lot of mending of fences, cattle guards, so forth and so on, and even some of your equipment. So this will teach you how to operate equipment on the farm or out in the ranch, how to maintain your livestock and equipment perimeter fencing, so forth and so on. We have industrial transition, and that's only a Ford Hood. It's a level 1. And we have structural certification, so that's for like metal buildings, that it's a level 1. Those are all competency based. In welding, you have to buy a starter kit. You might as well say we have a basket or a bucket, Tractor Supply and Home Depot and Lowe's, where you go in and they can sell you goggles, welding lenses, a helmet, leather aprons, gloves, pliers, cleaning kits, and all that, because you have to maintain these welding torches. So they're starting you off with having a very beginner part of a toolbox. So when you get done with this, you can go out into the industry and already have a starter kit so you can get started. All right, computer-aided drafting and design. Excuse me, the lights went out. Energy efficient. All right. And it's competency-based also. And excuse the date, I didn't correct the date on there. We'll say August. We're right now into our fall semester right now. And I don't know if they still have any open seats or not. But it's computer-aided drafting and design is the automotive associate's degree. We have our computer-aided drafting and design certificate level 2. And then we have the computer-aided drafting design occupational skills achievement level 1. It's all, like I said, competency-based, which come to class Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 1 o'clock until 10 o'clock in the evening. Some classes might start at 8 o'clock and go to 5 o'clock in the evening. But if you pace yourself and you manage your time wisely, you could have it all done in between 4 and 6 months for each level 1 certificate, and between 18 and 24 months for your level 2 certificate. If you have any questions, put it down in the remarks box. Each one of these have different cost, and I am not familiar with what computer-aided drafting cost is, but automotive it's $100 a semester hour. Most of their courses are 3 or 4 semester hours. So, you may pay $200, $300 per course, and you could end up with a degree. If you wanted to go full-blown degree, at about $3,000 for an associate of applied science degree, which is very, very inexpensive. It is good. And then you get out in the industry, you apply what you learn. Before long, you'll be making all that big money, and you can pay off this, and you'll be happy that you have a lot of pocket money. The same with Craftsman Trades and Diesel, HVAC. They're all around the same $100 semester hour. And once you get into the industry and apply what we teach you, then everything is okay. All right, I'm going to stop my sharing on this. If there is any questions.
So I do have one. So one of the things that I have noticed is that as time goes by, there is a difference in the perception as to the importance of having a degree, like a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, for example, compared to more of these craftsman trade style certifications and things like that. And there's I would almost say a push or a way of thinking for a lot of individuals and somewhat even the younger generation, where they don't necessarily want to go through 4-6 years of education to get into the workforce and make money. Have you, what has been your experience with that? And then maybe, can you talk a little bit about that push that has started to kind of happen again? It used to be there and it kind of went away, and it seems like it's kind of coming back now.
Yes, I could tell you real world experience. I am one of the individuals that when I was younger, I did not like school. I left high school like at 9th grade. Like I could do better in the real world. Then I joined the military, started using my hands, and found out that a lot of the industry out there wants people that are willing to show up on time, have a good positive attitude, and they can operate or perform tasks with their hands. A lot of people are not college bound. They don't want to sit in the classroom. They'd rather be out and using their hands. So a lot of our trades out here nowadays, like with Mike Rowe and a few others that talk, go to technical schools because you can do more and you get more satisfaction, and you get instant satisfaction by physically using your hands. So if you want to use a cross-cut saw and cut wood, you could actually see you did it, and all right, now you see there's instant satisfaction right there that you could actually use the tool to cut wood with. Or if you're turning wrenches or using a multimeter to check electrical circuits, you physically can track it down and you see as you're going on, and you're building more confidence in yourself. Nowadays, if someone say has a doctorate degree in nuclear engineering or whatever, their air conditioning in their house breaks, are they going to call another nuclear engineer to come out and fix this? No, they're going to call a blue collar worker, someone that went to a trade school that has maybe a 6-month certificate, but working in the field, or even a 2-year associate that's working in the field. They come out there and they're willing to pay big money so that you could, like I said, comfort control can fix maybe a $15 relay or a circuit breaker, put it on. Now all of a sudden they're happy. They have air conditioning, they're good. Same with a car. You see a lot of people on the side of the road with their car broken and the hood's open. They're looking at it. Well, they're following instructions because on their dash, the warning light said check engine. They went out there, they opened up the hood to make sure the engine didn't fall out. All right, I'm checking the engine. The engine's in the car, but we can't work on it because we don't have a computer with us right now. And we don't know what we're doing. You just can't go in there and start pulling wires and praying that's going to work. So a lot of the industry trade that we're doing in construction trades and diesel and automotive trades and HVAC is hands-on. We're in the community colleges and we're doing a lot of that. And that's what a lot of our society is now in the United States, was made from hardworking individuals that did a lot of stuff with their hands. And then from there on. So the big push nowadays, like Marcelli was saying, is there's a lot of push on trade schools. Now we're a community college, but then we can turn around. If you want more education, this is all transferable. There's a pathway where you could go to Central Texas A&M, you could go to UT of Austin, you could go to anywhere they offer these engineering courses, and you could turn around and use those. So, trade schools are, for me, is number one, because you're in there, you spend a little bit of time in the classroom, you spend most of the time in the lab, and you're actually using your hands, and you're seeing the satisfaction, and you're seeing what you could actually do.
So I want to kind of start wrapping up a little bit, but at the same time, I want to give you and Abe the opportunity of kind of talking a little bit about what stackable, we call stackable qualification, that stackable degrees. What does that look like in your individual areas, and what does it mean? Because that, I think, also goes towards, and it works specifically well with both of your areas, this notion of stackable degrees and how that ultimately can look like. If you could kind of explain a little bit in your area what that might look like. And I know you kind of touched on it a little bit already, but I, kind of fleshed it out a little bit more, because I feel that a lot of individuals don't understand that just with even 1 or 2 semesters, you could come out being able to work and do way more, in 6 months maybe than you think you might be able to in another uh, area or of education or anything like that.
All right, Abe, I'll let you go first.
So I think the question is basically once you graduate, right, where you will be at, correct?
Because for me, the way about it is that you both have stackable certifications. So
Mhm.
they don't really need to have an associate's degree at the end of the day. If they start in your areas, the students don't necessarily have to finish with an associate's degree to be able to actually start making money or having the opportunity of making money. It's something where if they take a certification, that may be enough so that they can start making money and they can continue their education and get higher. But if they decide for some reason that they don't want to continue, then it's already something that they can transfer into the workforce fairly quickly.
On our case is recommended to, so on one side, yes, so you could become a commercial pilot, and just as a definition, because it gets a little bit it can confuse people, the terminology of a commercial pilot. is that the commercial pilot is not an airline pilot, right? So the commercial pilot means that you can get compensated for carrying property or hire if you compare it to a private pilot. Now, you can get your certificates and start working for someone. You can become a flight instructor. A possible plan would be to work on your associates on the side as you go. But yeah, some employers look for that as the requirement to apply, right? But some airlines, because of now the amount of need of pilots, are starting to reduce their minimum requirements, and in some instances it has even allowed some people with just flight the certificates to apply for those airlines. It really depends on the employer whether they're going to require the associate's degree or the bachelor's degree, depending on where you're going. But I think although it's possible, I would say that I would recommend the associate's degree as well in order to increase your chances. But it is also possible to get employment with just the certifications without the associate's degree itself. Yes.
And then, Mr. Kirshner, I know that you oversee a lot of different programs, but I think overall it works pretty easily. Actually, in your area, it's probably easier.
Yes, stackable certificates, we'll start off, say, with diesel. And I'm a diesel instructor as well. We are now, with the last grant, we ended up partnering with Snap-on. And right off the bat, in our first class that we teach, which is shop safety and procedures, we teach how to read a ruler, how to read a tape measure, how to use precision measuring tools. Snap-on also has a certification. So while we're in class, Snap-on certification embeds yourself into our curriculum. So while we're teaching you how to read a ruler and you're demonstrating all this, little do you know you are actually taking a certification test for Snap-on and also for NC3, which is the National Coalition of Certificates in Colleges, and that's nationally accredited. So you are getting awarded a certification from Snap-on saying using rulers, tape measures, and PMI. We move on to precision measuring tools. Snap-on also awards you certificate there. So it's all stacked on top of it. With our DTNA, Detroit Truck North America, we have embedded courses in there as well that the industry, you take an industry test, pass it, you then, since you're a student here, we give you the hands-on test. You receive a certificate from Detroit, Mercedes-Benz, Cummins, Allison, Kubota, John Deere Tractor, Case, and that all goes into so you're receiving all these multiple certificates of training from the industry before you're even getting a certificate from the college. There's where stackables all compile on top of each other. So you're building a really big portfolio. But when you go out into the world, you have all this documentation, all this training you've done in the class that's stacked on top of each other to make it even more powerful. So when you do go out there, if you can't get a job, it's maybe because you have too many stackable certificates, which I've finally found that, that won't happen. But now you have all that. So if you want to transfer over to a major university and you want to get an engineering degree and build buildings or so forth and so on, you still have all those certificates that you show them. You might be able to use them as elective training. But the stackable one, all your employers, when they see that you are trained on Snap-on stuff or trained in Detroit or Allison or Cummins, they know, hey, I don't need to spend $15,000, $16,000 training you up to send you to this class. You're already certified. So you're helping the industry partners because you're certified through coming through our school that you're eligible and you're knowledgeable. So when you get hired on, I know Premier Truck Company up there in South Dallas, when you go through our program, you're already 2 years. They say you're a 2-year technician. As soon as they hire you on, they're hiring you on as if you were in the industry for 2 years. So you're starting off at $25, $30 an hour instead of $16, $18 an hour because of the training that we provide you here at Central Texas College, because it's industry based. They're saying, hey, we need to do this. We teach it, we do it, they come down, they review, they might ask you questions, and you already have the certification right there from the industry. So that's where our stackables, and it goes with NCCER, dealing with our plumbing, residential, electrical, air conditioning, our welding, AWS, American Welding Society. So we have a whole bunch of stackable certificates that are built into our college certificate. So when you get out, you're not just going to have a Central Texas College certificate. You're going to have stackable certificates from all of our industry partners as well.
Yes, excellent. So, one of the things that I have noticed also that a lot of individuals start saying, I just want the certification. And then it's almost like they get the bug or they start figuring out what everything else means and what the requirements are. Because they don't have a chance of asking questions like we have it right now, or being able to really fully understand what it means to be in the industry. And once they start taking classes with you guys, to start really seeing opportunities and possibilities in a completely different way. And I have seen it where they're like, yeah, I just want to get my certification and go. And, you know, and that's all I want. Okay, great. And then they're like, well, but now if I just get the associate's degree and I can actually get those other classes, then maybe they'll consider me for a supervisory role compared to not getting the associate's degree. But at that moment, they feel like, okay, I have something, I can get that extra push and I can get a little bit more, or I feel more comfortable now within the industry. This is definitely what I want to do. Now I want to get myself set up so that I can do other things within the industry that are not just be a technician or a pilot. Maybe at some point they're also getting ready to be an administrator or somebody that might have a little bit more experience, more on the journeyman level or above, depending on what it is, you know, what it is that they're studying and doing. They have different names for it depending on what field you go into. But that's something that I have noticed, and I have seen it with the students. They're like, yeah, I'm just gonna get the certification. You're like, okay, cool, great. And then they're like, well, now I really want to keep going. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to, but they find the value in it. And this is one of those ways of, if you are not sure how much you're going to like it, being able to go for a simple certification might actually be able to help you figure out how much you enjoy it and how much further you want to go.
If I could,
Mhm.
if I could add something, sorry about that. We train more than just being a diesel technician or automotive technician or HVAC and so forth. So you might start off wanting to do that and you find out, well, I really don't like this. I don't like all this grease and oil under my fingernails. Can I be a service advisor? I know now what the parts are. I know what the components are. I like talking to people. So maybe I could be a service advisor and I could turn around and talk to people. Or maybe I could be a parts clerk because I know now how to research parts. I know what parts go to certain components. I could work that. So I'm working indoors and I'm more into supply and demand logistics. Or they might say, okay, I want to be a warranty manager, right? I know, like I said, we trained up on so all these are stepping stones within the industry. So it's just not you out there turning a wrench or operating a welding torch or swinging a hammer. There's a whole bunch of little phases inside of a company that are eligible to work for. So what we're teaching you is just not, like I say, to turn a wrench, operate a torch, swing a hammer, cut wood. There's other parts of it that you can. Right? So you just need to just stick with it, get your certificate, and then turn around and say, okay, I have this, what else can I do? Because everybody else that I know of, they go to college and they change their degree 2, 3, 4 times, and they come out totally different than what they started. And that's what we're saying, that what we're building here, you could level on top of each other. We're starting with the foundation, and you could build and build and build, and before long, you have a skyscraper of knowledge. You can apply it anywhere that you go out to. We teach more than just, like I say, just turning wrenches or welding or whatever it is. We're teaching living skills as well. You can apply all this to everything that you go out to in the workforce.
So we have here online, we have Victor, and he mentioned that he's interested in electrical, and I think he joined a little bit after you had talked about that. But I know that that's really, electrical falls under the building trades specialty. Can you explain, because building trades in its own includes a lot of smaller components, which it kind of goes with the whole stackable thing, right? Can you explain what the different components are under building trades?
Yes, well, right now with our building trades, we do have, the framers, we do have the roofers, we teach electrical, which is the very basics of it because Texas is a right to work state, but they do have phases that you have to go through, just like if you were in a union state, where you could be an intern with an electrical certificate, but you're being supervised by a journeyman or by an apprentice. And it takes like 5,000 hours, which is like 5 years to move up to the next level. And then there's like 3 years after that to move up to be the master electrician, where you're the know-all of everything. So we teach the very basics so that you can get a job and work with a master electrician or a journeyman through your endeavor. So you prepared for it. Same way with plumbing. You start off at the basic level and you step up to an internship, you step up into a journeyman, you step up, so it's going to take anywhere from 5 to 7 years to get a master plumber. So the same way with electrician, like I say. So we teach you the basics on residential electrical, how to put in switches and dimmer switches and light outlets and change out face covers and so forth and so on. But we are not teaching you how to become a master electrician. You have to have, like I say, 5 to 6 years in the field working under a master electrician, him training you and doing everything, the different wiring and components, fuse box and circuit breakers. But we get you started and we make you feel good about yourself while you're doing that, so you can pursue the 5 or 6 years in the field to become an electrician.
I know I've seen the degree plans and a little bit and how that works. And some of the stuff that I've noticed specifically with the building trades is that if you were just to go under a journeyman or a master electrician, they're not necessarily going to right away teach you how to read the what do you call those? Read the
Wiring diagram, a schematic.
the schematics and all of that. That's not something that they're going to go into, but that is something that is part of the degree plan here. So if you take the degree plan here, you're already there. It does kind of teach you some of those things so that you would be ahead of somebody who doesn't have that kind of experience and all of a sudden is just thrown into it. And they're literally just learning what each wire is, how it works, and how you attach it. Where here, you're already coming with way more experience, plus some of these other aspects that usually you don't learn until way further in it's a better chance that you're going to actually be working on something more complicated or with a higher level of work, and learning much faster if you take the degree plan here and then start working under a master or a journeyman electrician. So I don't know, Victor, if you have any other questions. I mean, I know you didn't really offer any questions, but I wanted to make sure that we touched a little bit about what we have for you here. And so, my major is carpentry trades. Is that the major that I should be in? Yes. Yes. Because that's really what it falls under. It's part of the whole, it's building trades, and it includes plumbing, it includes electrical and all of that. And even if you're going to go eventually into more on the electrical end, you still learning all of it. It kind of goes with the whole stackable thing that we were talking about. All of these things, it really, when you're building anything, you have to know a little bit about everything, or you should, to be more successful, I think. So I think you're in the right spot. Do you have any questions that maybe Mr. Kirshner or any of us can help answer? Because, you have more people in one virtual room than maybe you normally would have access to. And we can help about any question that you might have that we feel, and if not, we can definitely get back to you on anything. But yes, it's very, and I really enjoy looking at all your different programs for actually both the aviation and the industrial technology areas, because as time has gone by, I have found that these are the areas that part of me wishes I could take classes a little bit here, a little bit there, because I am that person and really enjoy it. I am a lifelong learner, And so I really enjoy being able to know a little bit of everything. And this is life. We, like Mr. Kirshner said, a lot of these are the fields that everybody needs help in, because I fly a lot because I want to go visit family. I have the need, like you said, of the HVAC, or the electrical goes wrong or something like that happens, the car breaks down, all of that. We definitely need to access. So thank you. Okay, well, Victor, I'm glad that we got your questions answered. So good. I'm glad. Just want to make sure we got you covered. I don't see any other questions. Any last words of wisdom before we go, gentlemen?
Be safe out there. I know it's raining, and so
Yeah.
turn around, don't drown, like they say. So if the water's over the road, don't go through it. So be safe out there, and hopefully we'll see you in next coming semesters.
Yeah, and set up any tour with us anytime. We typically do them on Fridays. We're a little more available those days, but if you would like to at least see the facilities, look at the airplanes up close, and if you're just curious, please just email me and we can set up something for you.
Excellent. Thank you very much to everybody that participated. Thank you to our presenters. We really want to appreciate, as always, your participation and all your knowledge. We will continue. We have a few more of these sessions coming up, and the next one that we have is tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central, and that's going to be the healthcare career cluster. It's going to be virtual as well, so hopefully we will see you here as well tomorrow. And everybody be safe. This is, if you missed it and you want to listen to this again for some reason, or if you want to share it with somebody that you feel this might be a benefit to them, we do post these online to our YouTube page. And it'll probably be posted by the end of tomorrow. And so you have the opportunity, probably today, but
Today.
okay, it's gonna be today. Fine, today. I always like to give her a little bit of room, a wiggle room, but yes, today.
No, I'm putting the thumb down on Lee, so she
Oh,
got
okay,
no
okay.
choice.
So today, it's gonna be posted today. So you can check it out on the YouTube page, maybe share it with somebody if you feel like, oh, somebody could really benefit from this presentation. We are here to help, so please let us know, and we hope you have a fabulous night.
Take care, everybody.